Jennifer Mossop, let me ask what may sound like a completely ridiculous question, but I'll try it anyway. It wouldn't be the first time. Would it be so terrible if, when a politician were asked a simple, direct question, they gave a simple, direct answer?
It would not be terrible. And it would be even better if it turns into a more authentic conversation where the media doesn't feel like it has to go in hostile and trying to find the tiniest hole and rip it wide open. And the answers can be more authentic. I think what's happening, and it's a real disservice, and it's happening globally, is that we are having such conversations that are polarized, that are almost theater. And as a result, people are becoming very disillusioned. They're becoming disillusioned about government, politicians, and also about the media. Mm-hmm. And the polarizations that happening with these short soundbite messages with a little emotional tug in them, they get repeated and repeated, and we're all kind of swimming in our AI fueled algorithms, and we're becoming very polarized, and we're not getting much meat. We're scrolling through these sound bites, headlines all day long. Very few of us are reading the full articles. Very seldom are conversations like this had where you try to tease that out. I don't know that I have a solution for how we can bring these two sides together, but both the media and politicians are losing out. We're our own worst enemies on this one.
Well said, and Will, I want to go to you on that as well and get your take on this, because my sense is that the public so tunes out so much of what your clients say and so much of the work that we try to do because they just see the inauthenticity of all of it. They see rote answers, they see gotcha questions. Can we not do anything about that?
Yeah, I think we do, right? And it's incumbent upon these politicians and us as trainers of politicians, if that's what we are, is to talk about being authentic. At the end of the day, their message is going to cut through better if people believe them as a human, if they've got a personal story that can go with it, if they don't repeat the same words over and over and over again, if they have a conversation with folks. And, I look at Doug Ford on these things, and, probably not a media darling to be raising in this discussion. But when he's getting battered at the podium, which he has been battered a lot of times, he frequently goes to, look, guys, I don't know about this. Like, tell me the information, right? Like, I'm just like you on this. We want to make everybody happy. And that disarms folks a little bit for now. Chris Stockwell, former Speaker of the Legislature, former minister before that, was very much the same. He always used to say, look, guys, I'm from Missouri on this. Show me what you're talking about, and I'll take a look at it again. And I think that we've lost a lot of that. We've lost the ability for people to simply say, you know what, maybe we got it wrong. We've lost the ability to backtrack on things. And frankly, as a political staffer, I would never encourage backtracking. But in our everyday lives, we change our minds, right? And I think that lack of authenticity is really makes it hard for people to follow the news and support anybody because they can't identify with anybody.
Jessica, I think one of the biggest changes I've seen is that we now have a premier who has very strict rules when he is behind the microphone. One question, one follow-up, and out you go. Mm-hmm. And I can remember going, every premier from Bill Davis to probably Kathleen Wynne, those premiers found themselves in scrums with reporters with microphones in their faces, asking question, follow-up, follow-up, follow-up. That doesn't happen with Doug Ford. Is that a problem?
Yes and no. He did 2 scrums at Queen's Park over the past couple of weeks. It hadn't been happening very much, but we found him inside like an event and waited for him to come. The press secretary said, okay, we're going to do this, ask your questions, and we did it. And he can hold his own. And when they give us that sort of respect, like we're going to have him out here, he's going to take the questions, we're not as rabid. Like when there's all of that control, when we're getting all those lines that seem kind of like an insult to our intelligent, I think reporters get angrier, they ask harder questions. If you do have someone who's saying, okay, I'll come, I'll talk, I'll lay it out as best as I can, we tend to be equally as respectful in our questions.
See, I remember, because you're a New Democrat, or you used to work for the New Democrats, I'll harken back to Bob Rae. When Bob Rae was premier, this is back in the early 1990s, that poor guy got some brutal scrums where he would stand there and take question after question, and it was not Marcus of Queensbury rules. It was tough stuff. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I think it probably made him better, and it certainly made us better. Yeah. We don't do that hardly ever anymore. Is that a problem?
It is a problem, and I think first of all, back in the day, for much of my career, The premier of the day in every province across the country typically did a press conference every Thursday for 30 minutes or whatever. Just come, ask me anything. We've really lost that. And also, on the other hand, it's not just, am I going to be accessible to media? Are we going to say one question, one follow-up, then back of the line, it's 21 minutes and then we're cutting it off? It's also calling the media, the lamestream media, or campaigning and saying, we're just going to do our stuff on TikTok and Instagram and we're not going to talk to the press. Talking about no particular politician in particular here, there's been a trend towards that, towards saying the media is wrong, the media is the enemy. And we need to see mutual respect between politicians and media if we want to go back to the days of long, meandering, very productive press conferences.
The Agenda with Steve Paikin is made possible through generous philanthropic contributions from viewers like you. Thank you for supporting TVO's journalism.